This is the making of a black ash basket. It begins with us going into the swamps to harvest a black ash tree. Once we do this, we give thanks to the tree by laying down some sema, which is tobacco, and then we take the tree home to work with it. My husband, Jeff, is the person who does all of the pounding in our family. So he is the one who pounds on the log with the backside of an axe to get all of the materials that we're going to use for our beautiful baskets. This is how we begin every basket after we harvest the tree and we pound, and then we split and we scrape. So 75% of all the work we do is preparation of our baskets. So all of us in our family have our things that we're really good at. My husband, he's the best at pounding. I am the best at splitting, and my daughter is the best at scraping. So that just takes all of the little hairs off the outside. If I didn't scrape the hairs off the outside, when I bend my basket pieces, they're more liable to crack. So those hairs protect the material, but they will also make it crack easier when I go into the basket weaving part. So this I'm going to be using for the bottom of the basket. I will cut a piece of it and I will use it for a string that I will tie the bottom of the basket with. And I need to soak that in my water. So the black ash tree grows in wet areas. So it loves water, and that's what makes it so pliable. But you can't have it too moist because the water will work like a glue to hold my materials together, but you also can't pull wood on wood because it works like a glue. The one thing I'm always thinking about when I'm weaving these baskets, and I have this thought go through my head every time, is the first person to do this. You know, who looked at a tree one day and thought, I think that tree's the one. I'm gonna harvest this tree, I'm gonna pound on it with something heavy, and I'm going to get the growth rings off, and I'm going to make baskets. You know, I mean, what an amazing engineering feat that is. Often people will say, you know, how long did it take you to make that basket? My first answer will be thousands of years, because we're using knowledge from thousands of years ago. My second answer will be, it takes a few weeks, because it will take me time to go into the forest to find a good basket tree to weave these baskets. Especially in light of the emerald ash borer, we do not have our trees readily accessible to us like we did in the past. So in the past, I could go right down the road from my house about 15 minutes and get a tree. And today I have to drive about sometimes 5 to 7 hours away to look for a good tree. Basket weaving is super relaxing. I really love doing it. Even the pounding and the splitting and scraping. When we harvest a tree, it's really hard work. But when you get home with those logs, and you'll be really happy about it, that you're still able to access trees in the same way that your ancestors have done for so long. So this is how I finish off a loop fancy rim for a basket. This would be a loop fancy rim. So I'll show you what we have so far. So far we have a few loops, and then I'm going to finish up the other 6, and this whole rim will be done. And when I get done with this rim, you could actually call this a finished basket if you like, because we already had the decorations, it's built up. But I want to be really fancy, so I'm going to put some feet on the basket and add some more decoration in the middle to give it more strength and beauty. our tradition and culture of the black ash basket weaving is being endangered right now by the emerald ash borer. So the emerald ash borer was introduced into the port of Detroit, which is where we are today. I'm in Detroit doing this filming. So the emerald ash borer came over on some untreated ash pallets on a ship from Asia, and it began to, establish itself and find a new home. And it wasn't until it was in Michigan itself for 10 years, from 1992 to 2002, that we discovered that our ash trees were dying. So 99% of the ash trees in the United States are dying, and I know that sounds really devastating, but what I hear from that is 1% are living. I mean, hear that, 1% are living. That means that our trees already have some resistance, or they're beginning to adapt. So in either case, that's really hopeful news. This basket will outsurvive all of us. It will last for 100 years or more, depending on use. If it's not used, it'll just last forever. And if it is used, it will still last a good 100 years or more, because we can repair our baskets even if we use them and they get a little bit worn. So now we have a completed black ash basket. We have our loop rim. We have a loop embellishment here. We have the otter tail design woven in. And then we have our curly cues, and we have our points, which are our feet. And there is our black ash basket.